Even amidst what some might describe as a universal sameness or a consistent overlapping amidst the romantic subgenre of cinema, specifically within the TV movie release bracket across varied studio offerings, I still find these types of productions quite attractive. I think a lot of people do, female viewers especially. I mean, how many people do you know in your life that are women who happen to love Hallmark movies? But, I think guys can like them too. Or, in this case, I'll broaden it out. Let's say any movie along the lines of releases from Hallmark, Lifetime, Real One Entertainment, or Vista Entertainment. There are still films that are quite attractive to general audiences, and they do tend to do pretty well in viewership. I mean, I can certainly attest to my participation in those viewing figures, and maybe part of it, the reason it's so attractive is not just necessarily they're fun films in themselves, but I am a single guy hungry for romance, so any simulation of what I want in life can be quite attractive. But, I hope this movie is as fun as the pitch sounds for it. I mean, I've consulted some Real One Entertainment offerings in the past, and they've been entertaining, maybe not necessarily perfect, especially among their marketing, side, and I will say TV movies, sometimes what you get, especially when it pertains to specific genre lines. The Love Advisor could be kind of fun. I do see a bit of an original flair, at least in the projects I'm familiarized to. There's some deviation here from set expectations of a love triangle-themed movie, which is essentially what this film is. If you want a good background of A Love Advisor, this is what IMDb has to say about it. Abby works as an assistant and writer on the popular podcast run by her former college friend, Serena. Journalist comes from NYC to write about podcast and Serena. Abby starts to develop feelings, but Serena already has a plan for herself. Like I said, some variation with a love triangle at center. We've seen different types of romantic film stories constructed that way, but usually the trait is guy meets girl, especially in a lot of his TV film fares among recent releases over the past couple of years. It might be sometimes girl meets guy, but it's not as much of a staple. It can be. There are films that I think attest that, even maybe I'm forgetting some names in particular, but I look at this project, I'm like, okay, it's a bit of a fresh breath from what I'm personally familiarized to, at least in recent past encounters of other types of movies, that I find The Love Advisor attractive. And it sounds fun, right? You get somebody from the journalist scene, and you've got these two women who I'm assuming are friends, and once the guy comes in, disruption. Love triangle syndrome. We've witnessed this before. Let's see how far it goes. I mean, it could be quite chaotic. It could be fun. These women could remain friends. I mean, I think we all know where this type of film will float, in regards to its ending. We'll see. The all romantic film fare really does. There's, like I said, consistent overlapping, even in structure and destination points. But maybe it could be a fun watch all the same. Let's take a look at it and see for ourselves.
We need fresh material ASAP.
Best places to get caught in the rain? Okay.
You should have your own podcast. She doesn't even credit you, and you write the whole dang show.
Thank you, Serena.
Of course, Cassie.
Okay, it's a bit of like a
listening the #1 romance
elitist
podcast in America.
Relationship with somebody who's not taking into account the labor on part of
I've known you long enough to
close
expect
friend.
healthy skepticism, but this is a scoop.
This is Jack Whitman. Are we confirmed or not?
Yes, we're confirmed.
I sent some of the lessons to be learned amidst the characters' individual lives.
This reporter I'm meeting tomorrow.
He does
Very
super
pink
insightful
podcast
profiles.
This stupid facial! We have to push the interview. Take one of my gift baskets. Keep him occupied.
I wanted to apologize. That's nice, some eyelash curler.
She went all out with a gift package.
I don't think people can actually change.
Not seen that much
romantic
tissue paper in a
advice.
while.
I happen to believe in romance. Is that so bad?
No, it's just not realistic.
How about I take you to the places where Serena gets her inspiration?
I've listened to a couple episodes. There's real heart to the contents.
He was so encouraged.
She's a deep thinker.
But he doesn't know it's my writing.
I'm sure she's very charming, but you're there to profile Serena.
The girl that deserves to get the attention.
The insights on the show feel so down to earth. There's sort of a disconnect between the words and the voice.
The rivalry going to be birthed in any minute. We're going to see more of it pop up.
Trying to
Help mend one broken heart at a time.
So I like this basis.
Tonight, we get to see some of the most fascinating voices in audio.
You look, wow.
It's a good dress.
It's been me the whole time.
Good costuming
It's been
choices.
my words, my advice. I've been lying since the beginning.
It fits to a final scene of a picture
I'm
like
Ari
this.
Roy, and this is New Perspective. High collar.
I may have lost the shot with someone truly special.
take her to the most romantic spot and tell her how you feel.
Okay, not as much, like the love triangle side, but interesting in terms of the baseline of this poor, sympathetic girl in this case who is, working, I'm sure, a dream job in podcasting. Also gives this particular film a bit of a modern flair. I mean, look at the podcasting industry these days, is what I would call it, amidst the content creator landscape, though I don't necessarily partake in it as much. I've thought about it. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm just not really sure. Maybe I will one day. I don't know. I prefer the type of content format that I make. Maybe it's just what I'm more used to. Maybe I could venture out to different destinations. But the podcast landscape is growing. There's a lot more content creators jumping into that sphere of production that I look at this film, and again, like I said, it gives it a persistent modern tie-in. That I feel it's quite relevant in terms of, it's still a fictional picture, but it feels very realistic to the real world. It's very grounded as well. I mean, to me, when I watch the trailer for this, I find it a bit superior maybe to recent offerings I've seen again in the romantic landscape. Maybe not all, but this actually is a good construction to it. You've got this woman in the podcast job who obviously has a lot of talent in the writing sphere, but she's not necessarily getting the credit that she deserves. And while Serena may be showered in the attention and there's a bit of a narcissism exuded by her character, there's a lesson to be learned. So it's not as much, like I said, I thought it could be kind of go the way of a comedy where it's like, okay, you got these two friends, the guy comes in and it's like they try to outdo one another, right? Like, who can get the journalist? He's a good-looking guy, so in terms of a presence, especially for, I'm sure, these two women, it'd be like, okay, we both have our eyes set. I like it. It's a strong foundation that I think presents a competent release. Definitely. I know it's a word I use a lot, but I truly feel that, especially amid, like I said, the TV landscape, final execution can be quite varied. There are projects that might fare well, others not so much. I think The Love Advisor is a fun release. I like the construction of the story. It's built, I think, sustainably, so it feels, in a way, fresh. Especially to tie it into the angle where as the audience member are deeply sympathizing with the character. It's portrayed very well for the struggle of her presence trying to connect with him, for him to realize, I'm sure he will, especially during this interview of, well, who actually wrote the material, right? Maybe Serena's not necessarily the strongest presence unaided by Abby's involvement. I like it as a construction. I really do. I think it'll be a fun, entertaining watch. Will it get the most attention? I mean, I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of romantic fare these days, but I see The Love Advisor as in a bit of a superior position, perhaps. I do. I think it's a project that is worth considering. Let me know your thoughts down below if you wish to disclose your perspective. I'm genuinely curious on it, and I'd love to hear if that's the same response you have as well. Maybe it's not. Like I said, it can quite vary amidst the romantic film fare landscape in the TV market. So I'd be curious to hear again, like I said, if there's a mixture of opinion just based on genre perception and model of release. But I find amidst, like I said, the wide landscape today, The Love Advisor sits in a comfortable position, and one that I would definitely wish to entertain it. I don't feel it deserves to be like another movie where it's like, oh, I can miss out on this one or watch it later. I'm actually pulled to watch it right now. I feel like the film is beckoning for me to watch it just based on its individual expression. I really do feel that it sits, again, in a very distinct space, in part. Some familiar threads, but enough of it being its own thing to be an encouraging and tempting release, especially on its original flair. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.